President Trump is now denying he knows the guy who's refurbishing the iconic reflecting pool in Washington. It comes after the New York Times reviewed government documents that showed staffers at the Interior Department have noticed bubbles, small holes, and uneven layers of the tinted waterproof coating, leaving the pool various shades of blue. Oh, and the price tag that Trump touted has skyrocketed from $1.8 to more than $13 million. Remember what Trump said about all this last month.
I have a guy who's unbelievable at doing swimming pools. Up the road, we have a club, we have an Olympic-sized swimming pool. He did it 20 years ago, and it's perfect to this day. So I asked him, I said, I have an idea. I'm going to send my contractor over and take a look. He looked at it, he called me up, he said, so we can do something on it. He said, it's perfect, actually.
But in a now deleted social media post, Trump writes, I didn't give out the contract. Interior did to a contractor I did not know and have never used before. Well, around the basin today, the public reaction to the project is mixed.
I think it's a complete and utter embarrassment. It's meant for reflection. There's probably not going to be a lot of reflection for a man who doesn't reflect on himself.
I mean, why are we spending money on changing the color of the pool when we're currently at war with Iran?
I think it needed help, and it's nice to see some attention being paid to it.
I think it looks good. I mean, it's getting it done for America's 250 and making it beautiful for everybody around the world to see. It's a great thing.
Well, a nonprofit has filed a lawsuit arguing the renovation would be more appropriate for a resort or a theme park. Joining me now, Charles Birnbaum. He's the CEO and founder of the Cultural Landscape Foundation, which filed that lawsuit. Welcome, Charles. Tell us about the basis of this lawsuit.
Sure. Well, Chris, as you probably know, this landscape is listed on the National Register of Historic Places, and it's one of the national park units that are under the stewardship of the National Park Service. Because of those two things, the National Park Service should be actually undertaking a federal review under Section 106 of the Historic Preservation Act of 1966. I know that sounds really wonky, but this is something that would normally happen and has happened historically since the creation of the memorial more than a century ago. In fact, the CFA was founded in 1910. It hasn't gone to the Commission of Fine Arts. It hasn't gone to the National Capital Planning Commission. And most importantly, there has been no Section 106 review to determine if any of this work, whether it's the color or the bubbles, if any of this work will have an adverse effect on the historic resource. That would be the due diligence, and that's what we're saying is it hasn't taken place. It needs to take place. How can we make decisions about managing change if we're not presented with plans and scientific data, perhaps test plots to see what the impact would be? None of that has taken place.
Yeah, so I just want to clarify, or maybe just, double emphasize this for folks who are listening. You heard the Trump claim in that since deleted post that the Interior Department gave out the contract and he didn't know the person doing the work. Can the Interior Department just decide to give out a contract?
Well, I mean, there are procedures and protocols for hiring government contractors all the time. As someone that spent 15 years in the federal government, I don't think it's a situation where someone gets to pick up the phone or send an email and say you're hired. There is a process. But the process that we're concerned about is that the due diligence is not being done. This work is happening. And just like at the ballroom where we tore it down, at the White House grounds, East Potomac Park, where we started dumping, the approach has been to do the work and then perhaps ask questions later. That should not be happening here in a memorial landscape that is, in fact, hallowed ground. And the pool itself, in its monochromatic gray tone, has historically served as the venue for that visual conversation between these two monuments. It is part of the choreographed movement of all of us as Washingtonians and tourists as we move through that landscape. And the current proposed color change will change the character of that landscape, which will be an adverse effect, and it should be having a Section 106 review.
I mean, he said that, right? He said, I know this guy who does swimming pools. I know this guy who's done swimming pools for me, and, they've turned out great. Let's just be clear. This is not a swimming pool. You don't take a dip in the reflecting pool.
I mean, I think the dilemma is, I think about the clips of all of the folks that had emotional responses that you showed on the front end of this segment, that this is not really an aesthetic choice. It is not about the color, but it is about maintaining the integrity of the memorial design by architect Bacon and landscape architect Frederick Law Olmsted Jr. And Jr. himself literally shaped the federal city in the first parts of the last century. And this is just another egregious situation where Olmsted's design intent for a memorial and commemorative landscape is being altered without any public review whatsoever.